All right, man. Paperback, self-published by designer Tim Fowers and Ryan Goldsberry, I believe, is on art. So you all play paperback novel authors trying to finish novels for your editor, right? Paperback is a deck-building game very similar to Dominion, mixed with a word game like Scrabble. You start out with a starting deck of cards that are 5 basic letters and 5 wild cards that are also 1 victory point each. You have a common letter on the board that each player can use, and the first person to get a 7-letter word gets to put it in their hand. Then another common letter is revealed, and that requires 8 letters, then 9 and 10, and so on. And if anyone ever gets that 10-letter word, the game ends. That's one of the game-ending mechanics. So each card has a value and a cost on it, and you're trying to gain enough value to buy victory point cards that are also wilds and have a value. The game can end when 2 of these stacks are gone. During the game, you're spelling words with your cards to buy new letters. Some are double letters from the various stacks that are out there that range all the way from 2-cent cards to 8, 9, and 10-cent cards. The letters also have actions that can do various things to the values and different things like that. There's a lot of different actions. There's a lot of variants to the game too, which I thought was really cool. There's attack cards that you can put in, awards, powers, theme cards. There's cooperative play. There's also wooden cubes that you can use to either put on the alternate cards until they're all taken, or they can use, and those are then used as 1 cent each. You can also use a variant where you can help each other figure out words and in return get a cube to use as 1 cent.
Just a plus 1 cent to any of your...
So, Lara, in your play or plays, I can't remember,
I think
2.
I played
one with me and you, one with me, your wife, right?
Yes.
So tell me what you thought about Paperback.
Oh, wow. I mean, this has got to... You know how some games are really... Once someone comes up with the idea, everybody kind of runs with it. It's amazing to me that one of the first deck-building games wasn't something more like this.
Yeah.
With some sort of a built-in building mechanic like Scrabble. I mean, it is completely Scrabble and Dominion just together. Deck building, Scrabble. It's amazing. It's really, really fun. I think it's coolest deck builder I've played that, really like Dominion, and it's really flexible, but like you really like more Valley of the Kings.
Yeah.
It's a more refined, better deck builder.
Yeah.
Just as a game. I mean, it had come out after Dominion.
Yeah. People
had explored the deck building idea, and it's one of the further along the development route, but it's a really cool game. This game is more like that, even though at its heart, it doesn't have any extra mechanics like Valley of the Kings have. Just the spelling mechanic alone adds that much to it.
And, with Dominion is Dominion.
Yeah.
There's been more and more deck builders before Valley of the Kings and before Paperback.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in Dominion, still the granddad king of all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that is that for that reason. Because it's just so smooth and simple, and it's vanilla, but sometimes people want that, and it's just quick. It's a quick deck builder, and it's the one that started it, and it's just such a variety. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, once you get a couple or even just one.
Yeah, and Dominion is in place for a reason. If I had played more about it, I'd probably feel the same. I've only played it twice before. If I had played more, I'd probably feel the same way about it. You know what I mean? But for me, Valley of the Kings was probably my favorite deck builder I'd played, or Imminent Domain.
Yeah.
And this is like quickly taking the place. My wife loves to play this. I love to play this. But it is really AP inducing, like we said. But it's one of those APs that doesn't really bother you.
And if you play with that variant where you're helping each other, I mean, then it's just a game like you'd play, almost like watching Wheel of Fortune on TV or something. You try to figure out the words with whoever you're watching with. I got that one, or whatever.
Yeah, and you and I talk a lot about satisfying games. And in this game, you could have a hand of 7 cards, right? Mm-hmm. And all you can come up with is a 4-letter word. I mean, that's all you can come up with.
Yeah.
But then when you've got a hand of 8 or 9 cards, because that can happen. Like you have 5, and then you get a card that says draw 3 extra your next turn or whatever, one of those actions, and you've got 8 cards, and when you can spell that 6-letter word or get that 7-letter word with doubles, I mean, man, that is satisfying.
It is. You got the first one, and I got the next one, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can get the next one.
Yeah, when you take that first common letter and you go, I got 7 letters, you know what I mean? And you get a lot of money to buy your next thing, and I mean, when you get up buying those 10, 11-cent cards, man, it's so satisfying.
It is very fun.
Yeah, and one of the only criticisms I could ever have about this game is that I feel like it builds up to almost a climax and then ends, because the mechanism is there's 4 stacks of these cards that have the victory points on them, and once 2 of those are gone, it's over, right? I feel like you never even have a chance to build up to the higher point value victory point
More
cards
expensive card.
or the more expensive letter cards. Because, I mean, how often have we ever bought a 17-cent victory point card?
Yeah, and
I don't think ever.
That one that was on, I mean, that's it, the whole stack, right? Just that one 17.1?
Yeah.
And then there's 3, so pretty much that one never moves. I mean, we never got 17 cents.
Unless
Maybe
you're just really working hard to get that one.
just one 17-cent card, because that would wipe out a whole pile right there. But
Yeah, but I mean, those 5s and 8s, they go first. I mean, it's always those 2 stacks are gone and the game's over. It's never the other 2 stacks, and we very rarely buy from that 3rd stack. Never have from that 4th stack. And maybe once we get better at the game, that'll change. But that's the only thing I could think of that I would see as a criticism of the game, is that it sort of ends before I feel like it's finished a little bit.
yeah, and maybe check out some of these variants, or
Yeah, and the variants, I think, do add a lot. I mean, we still haven't played with attack cards, and maybe attack cards could really do something for the game, but there's only 2 for each cent pile. So there's 2 in the 2-cent pile, 2 in the 3-cent pile,
they'd
and
have
so
to be
on.
pretty dramatic then, I would think. But I don't know, maybe they are.
Yeah, most of these variants are really small. So the attack cards we don't know about. The awards is you just put one award out and you're both vying for it for at the end of the game. The powers are pretty cool. You each get a power, so now you've got a little bit more to go with. The theme cards, I think, are the coolest, right?
Yeah.
So theme cards, you put one out that's like crime or pirates or something, and there's like 4 or 5 suggested words on there, and if you spell one of those, you get the card, but you just leave it in front of you. And if the other person spells one of those, they get the card. So whoever ends with it at the end of the game gets those points.
Yeah.
But it's not just the words on the cards. It's if you can come up with your own word in that theme, that works too. And everybody's just got to be cool and honest about it and say, yeah, that works. You know what I mean? But you're just vying for it back and forth, and it adds this cool little element to the game.
Everybody's trying to come up with words about
Yeah.
a given subject, and you could even take that, I mean, and just make your own themes, like a sub,
Yeah.
you know.
So it's not just spelling words that you can find, but you're trying to spell specific words, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And trying to get specific letters out of the deck because you thought of this word that would be good if you could come up with just those letters, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And the wilds are really good. The wilds help you out because if it was just letters, it'd be impossible to play this game. Some of the most difficult stuff I thought is the common letter. Okay, so there's 2 common cards that aren't letters. There's 4 that are letters, 4 or 5 that are letters, like A, O, E, I, you know?
Yeah.
And there's 2 that aren't. One's a space bar, which means you can spell 2 words. They don't have to be connected words, just 2 words.
Yeah.
Which it works. You know, that one works well.
Yeah.
And then the other one is a reversal. So any of the 2-letter cards can be reversed.
Yeah. TO becomes OT.
But man, that created more AP in this game than anything else. I was having to flip my cards around, and even though they're upside down, it at least helped me out a little. Because you're thinking about you got 5 or 6 cards in your hands, and you're thinking about all the possible variations because 2 of these are 2-letter cards, and then I've got 3 or 4 1-letter cards. But then I've got all these other options because I can turn this around. Oh man, it was. But it's one of those games like I'm sitting over here trying to think of my own thing, so you take as long as you need on your turn.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, oh, I got it, and then you're waiting, but it's not that big of a deal.
No.
This is just a great activity. I mean, we played it in a hospital, like when we were at a hospital one time. We played at home a lot, just on the coffee table. Don't even worry about going to the table.
Yeah.
Great, fun, simple, small game, and great production, man. This is a cool box, right?
It really has the flavor of paperback, kind of pulpy, you know.
And all the victory point cards are like different books, and the author's name that they use for all the paperback covers is Paige Turner.
Yeah.
So,
it's pretty funny.
On the nose there. But it's great, man. It's so thematic and so much fun. I just love everything about this, right? Because I read a lot of trash novels. So, I mean, I really like
Me too.
You know, I read a lot of murder mysteries and stuff like that. So I really love the theme of this game. So, paperback. Oh, and the way the box doesn't close all the way, but that makes it say paperback, and then the bottom of it where it hasn't closed over, it says by Tim Fowers, and on the other side is by Ryan Goldsberry.
Just really nice production for especially for a self-published game to like go to the extra mile.
Yeah, it's very cool. I really like Paperback. Anything else to add about Paperback? Want to play more?
Yes, and this is another one like it'd be cool to have expansions, you know.
I wonder what the expansions could be.
I mean, you could just
besides adding more letters.
Yeah, you could do different language expansions, or you could do like era-themed expansions. Like, I can see, Jane Austen or something.
Yeah.
But you could do all kinds of stuff. You could do like Dickinsonian sort of
Or you could do like movies, like the movies and
True,
TV, you
true.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
where
more
you could
like script writer.
Yeah, where you could actually spell. That's a great idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the screenplay author expansion,
Yeah,
where you can actually even spell like movie titles and stuff like that and get extra points, something, you know? Oh, but we talked about, remember what we talked about? It doesn't even have to be an expansion, but playing a game with these cards where you're spelling a sentence or something where
and
I play
each
a
person
word.
has to alternate.
It's like a round robin type thing,
Yeah.
but you have to play a word that would go after that, and we like make
sense, yeah,
you know
make
what
a
I mean?
story or something.
So that cool exercise for a classroom or something too, you know?
I think so, yeah. This is definitely a game that belongs in a classroom.
Absolutely. This and Rory's Story Cubes.